John Caudwell joins us. Entrepreneur, philanthropist, best known, of course, for founding the retailer Phones for You. Thank you very much indeed for coming on, John. I wonder what you have made of Rachel Reeves' attempts to balance the books.
Quite critical of the budget last year, because a lot of what she's done, in my opinion, was not really very smart. There was a lot more that could have been done. But that said, Labour are doing a lot of things behind the scenes that will provide dividends in the future, like the reduction of bureaucracy and deregulating planning and so on. And I think some of this was going to provide real benefits in the future. So there's a mixed bag, really, but they could have done a lot better.
This national insurance rise for employers, you've run businesses. There's only one thing that's going to happen here, isn't there? Jobs are going to go.
I'm not so sure that will be the case, but the point I would make is that it's an unfair tax, because somebody who's just got a one-man band selling high-value products, the rise in national insurance won't make a scrap of difference. The opposite of that is a friend of mine who's got hotels in London, has got thousands and thousands of employees. It's a low-margin business, and he's got a huge extra burden to his profit and loss account. So it's really just an unfair tax, and I was really against that. Now, of course, Rachel Reeves had to raise money somehow, but there was, I think, a lot smarter ways of doing it, and smarter ways that were fairer.
Can I ask you about one of the things that people say would be fairer would be a greater tax on those with great wealth, the so-called patriotic millionaires who say that they want to pay more tax, they want the Chancellor to charge them more. Are you someone who would fall into that category of millionaire or exceptionally wealthy person? You would like to pay more?
I wouldn't mind paying more, but I'm definitely not going to promote it, and that's not from a self-interest point of view. It's purely from a point of view that there's only so much you can do about the wealthy before they leave the country. A friend of mine now is selling his business. He's run this business for 50 years, and because of the tax changes on mainly on capital gains tax on the sale of a business, he's now going to Dubai. And all of that revenue that they could have had if they'd have maintained taper relief is going to go down the drain. So I think you've got to be very, very delicate with taxes that you do. There's got to be fairness, and it's got to be sensible. Otherwise, jurisdictions like Milan and Dubai and Monaco will reap the rewards, and we've already got mass exodus, and this is factual, mass exodus to Dubai, Milan and Monaco. Contraring that, which is a positive thing, we've got Americans inward bound. So we've got quite a lot of American people, especially some of these that have been sacked by Doge in the nuclear field, and people with PhDs. So we are going to be a recipient of some inward labour as well.
Do you think if capital gains were put up again, or a wealth tax instituted, you would leave the UK?
I've got no particular interest in saving tax money, but there would be a threshold at which, especially given that I keep giving Labour advice on what I think they should do, which up to yet they've not taken any of it, and if they then did something that was damaging to the country and me personally, because it's a two-in-one effect, because I think to get me to leave the country, you'll have already got thousands before me left. We can't afford to lose those thousands. We've got to attract inward investment from high-technology businesses, especially in the environmental space, because that's really where GDP growth and the future is going to come from.
Just finally, I note that you moved your vote to Labour for the first time at the last election. Your money has gone to the Conservative Party. Would you be willing to move your money to Labour too?
It's not a question of money. I mean, they wanted my support as a fairly prominent businessman who could probably influence others. And I've no doubt that did influence quite a number of votes. I don't know whether it made any difference or not, but it would have influenced a number of votes. They weren't after money. Would you become a donor to the Labour Party? Sorry?
Would you become a donor to the Labour Party?
Okay, I was coming on to that when you stopped me. I know I gave you a slightly different...
That's all right, John, don't worry.
But I was coming on to it, which is that if they needed my money and if they were doing the right things, I would be supportive purely for the benefit of Britain. If Britain is going to prosper as a consequence of any political party making the right decisions, then I would become a donor, yes.
John, really good to speak to you. Always appreciate your time. Let's speak again. John Caudwell, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, best known for founding the retailer Phones for You.